Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Great Scott! There's no crying in baseball!
You better hold on tight, Spider Monkey.
This is where the fun begins.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That's right. We're ranking The Accountant 2. The Accountant 2 is a 2025 American action thriller film. In the film, Christian Wolf reunites with his estranged brother Braxton to unravel a deadly conspiracy involving the murder of a Treasury official, leading them into a dangerous mission to rescue a trafficked child and confront a powerful criminal network. Honestly, kind of seemed like a movie that didn't really need a sequel, and it kind of proved me right. Let's get into why with the 10 essential aspects of a movie. First is plot. Does the movie follow a comprehensive story arc and is plausible within the world that has been created? Now, when we're talking about a sequel, one of the first things I like to address is whether the movie really needed to be made. Did you have a reason for making another movie that was valid? Did you have a part of the plot that you needed to talk about, or a different way that you wanted to tell the story? Or were you just making a movie to capitalize off the first couple and make some money? This movie definitely felt like it was just capitalizing off the first one to make some money. The plot felt very messy. It didn't feel like there was a lot of love and time put into crafting a very interesting story. I thought the actual mystery of the movie, the thing that is kind of moving the plot along, was not that interesting. Part of that is probably because the people that they were looking for just didn't really care about, didn't know them, didn't really care to know all the details about how to find them, because it just wasn't that interesting of a story. They weren't that creative with it. The main character, is unique for the way that he looks at his perspective on problems. The way that he solves problems is different and interesting, but they don't really use it. They don't really create a mystery that requires somebody who is very special to solve it. I think a lot of regular people could have solved this mystery. It just wasn't that good. It wasn't crafted that well. There's also a lot of other plot lines in this movie that just weren't interesting and didn't need to be there. They kind of filled out the movie, but not in a good, interesting way. Not to say that it's terrible, but it just didn't seem like there was a lot of love and effort put into it. Second is attraction. Does the movie have an interesting premise with a high entertainment value? Not to me. That doesn't mean it is a bad movie. I just don't think I was necessarily a great audience for it. I do think there is an audience for this movie, and if I had to guess, they're probably over the age of 40. I just think a lot of the humor, a lot of people who are older would enjoy, but someone who, like me and my age, I just don't think will find it that funny. That's probably because it was written by people who are older and they don't really know how to write great comedy for younger people. I don't know. It's kind of a guess, kind of an assumption, but I'm also a little picky. If a movie is going to have serious tones, then I'm going to take the directing and the movie making serious. Not everybody does that. If you can just watch a movie and not really care about the quality that much, you just kind of want something that is entertaining enough, then you will probably like this movie. Third is theme. What message or truth is the movie trying to convey? I didn't think this movie had a strong theme. Now, the one that I could probably talk about is maybe just individualism, the fact that there's some people in this movie that are very different from the societal norm, but they use that to their advantage, and that's something that is kind of the main theme of this movie. I don't think they really did a good job of having some sort of message. Not that you need a message. I don't know that they really had one to tell, but if there was one, I guess I would talk about using your individuality to not set you back, but instead to use it to your advantage. Fourth is dialogue. Is there a real feel to the conversations? It's not terrible, but it's not great either. It just kind of exists. Part of the reason I didn't love the dialogue is the comedy. There's a lot of jokes in this movie. There's a different tone to this movie, and it's supposed to be funny. It just didn't work for me. It also took away, because you're trying to be funny, from any of the serious conversations, because there's not that many. So there really wasn't a great flow with this movie because I didn't find the humor that good. There was only one part in this movie that I actually found funny, and it wasn't even dialogue, it was just a situation of the scene. It was just funny the way things were going down, not because somebody said something funny. I honestly think out of all the jokes that were made in this movie through dialogue, I don't think I laughed at a single one. Fifth is acting. Are the characters convincing? First and foremost, the main actor of the previous movie and this movie, Ben Affleck as Christian, he does a good job. I mean, he's a good actor, he knows what he's doing, and this character is unique and he makes him feel that way. He does a good job of staying within that character and making them feel like something's not quite right here. He is definitely different than normal people, but he also plays him in a way that makes him very likable. He does a good job, kind of expected out of him at this point. John Bernthal as Brax in this movie, you know, I really like him as a actor. I don't know if I've seen him in many things where he's comedic, and maybe that's part of the problem, or the movie's just not that funny. But I just found his character to be very dumb. They used his character a lot to bring the humor to the movie, but it just was not needed. In fact, this movie would have been better if he was more serious, and the problems between him and his brother were taken more serious. I feel like the movie would have been better, but instead his character just kind of felt a little useless. He wasn't that funny, and he just kind of exists to be another guy that can kick people's butts. I didn't love his character that much. I thought they kind of underutilized him as an actor and the character's potential. Cynthia Ade Robinson as Mary Beth in this movie, I'm not going to blame her. I don't think her acting is necessarily the problem. I just think the character was really not good. It is a bland character that is supposed to kind of be this moral character that brings you back to morality and kind of reminds the audience and the main characters that what they're doing is illegal or morally wrong, and it just was really annoying in this movie, mainly because you don't necessarily think that the main characters that you're following are that bad. And so constantly being reminded about what they're doing and saying it's bad, it's like, I don't even agree, and you're just being annoying. Her character didn't bring anything to the movie other than that. She wasn't useful. In fact, she was a hindrance most of the movie. She's just kind of a weight being dragged along. I just thought the writing for that character was terrible. 6 is cinematography. Is there a creative use of lighting, setting, and wardrobe to convey emotion? I thought creativity was lacking for this movie, like all around. So honestly, there's not really many things that are noteworthy cinematically. There is some action in this movie, but it's kind of far and few between, and it's really not that interesting. They don't do anything to make it feel special or good, and the plot's not good enough for me to really care. You don't really ever feel that any of these characters are actually in danger at all. So that makes it kind of hard as well. By the time you get into the big action sequence of this movie, I just didn't really care that much. It was just another thing to add onto the plot that caused time that I was like, please just get this out of here. There's zero emotion. I mean, the story is just not interesting enough. The characters aren't good enough for me to really care about any of them. They want you to sympathize with a bunch of characters that you spend pretty much no time with in the movie, and I think that's just kind of lazy writing. Like, they like to, in this movie, I think one of the things they try to pull for is the fact that they're children, and though, yes, you feel bad because children don't deserve it, they haven't done anything to deserve being mistreated, it's just like, okay, I don't really care that much. I mean, if you want me to actually care, then give me some time with that character, and then I'll actually care about that character. I just think it was very kind of lazy and boring. I thought they could have been a lot more creative with it, therefore there just wasn't much emotion at all. 7th is editing. This is all about the pace of the movie. The movie is 2 hours and 5 minutes long. Entirely too long. The movie is way, way too long. This movie could have easily been an hour and 40 minutes, and I would have been entertained. There's just so much to this plot. They try to put all of these things in this plot that I just didn't care about. And so having to put all these storylines together and then solve them all at the end brought all this time that I just did not care about. I really wish this movie would have been half an hour shorter. 8th is soundtrack. Yeah, honestly, it's been months since I watched this movie. I don't remember anything about the soundtrack at all. I mean, I don't remember hating it, but there definitely wasn't anything worth remembering. 9th is directing. Now I feel the directors in charge of the previous 8 aspects, they're the ones that have to put it all together, give it their stamp of approval, and make a really good movie. Now the director of this movie is Gavin O'Connor, and this is his 9th film. The 9 films that he's directed are Comfortably Numb, Tumbleweeds, Miracle, Pride and Glory, Warrior, Jane Got a Gun, The Accountant, The Way Back, and finally The Accountant 2. I have seen none of those movies outside of The Accountant, and honestly, when I watched The Accountant, it was so long ago that I can't even really remember that movie that well. I like to give directors 3 movies before I really make a solid opinion about them, and honestly, I don't know how to feel about Gavin at this point. I feel like The Accountant, I remember it being better. Maybe I need to watch it again, and maybe I won't like it as much, but I definitely felt like it was better than this movie. I thought it had a more serious tone and was handled better. I thought this movie was kind of a mess, so I don't really know where I feel about him right now. I would need another movie to really solidify how good I think he is as a director. 10th is time. Will it stand the test of time? No, honestly, I don't even know if people remember that this movie came out this year. It is going to just be thrown into the giant pile of sequels that were not nearly as good as the original. That's how I feel that this movie might be remembered, but honestly, I don't think people remember it at all. It's just a very mid movie in a pile of mid movies. Now for the review section. Rotten Tomatoes critics gives it a 76. Rotten Tomatoes audience gives it a 92, and IMDb gives it a 71. I knew there was an audience for it somewhere. 92 is crazy, especially against every movie ever made. It's not even close, but honestly, if you were comparing it to movies made this year, I wouldn't even put it at 92. I just think that's entirely too high. I am probably somewhere with IMDb at 71. I think this is a very C kind of movie. Honestly, kind of bordering on a D with some of its problems, but it just doesn't do anything wrong enough to make me upset, but it just was very boring and just a very mid movie. It's very plain that I just did not love that much. Finally, for the rankings. For the year of 2025, out of 17 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be 9th, just below a Minecraft movie and above Novocaine. Now I have it above Novocaine. They're both just totally movies I would not watch again that are very mid. I just think there is a mystery aspect to The Accountant 2 that I like more than what Novocaine was about in the plot. I just think it's a little more interesting to me personally, but honestly, you could throw these movies around. I wouldn't really care that much. They're both movies that are just okay. I do have it below a Minecraft movie, and I feel like that's pretty easy. A Minecraft movie is definitely made for entertainment more than The Accountant 2, and though it doesn't do a fantastic job, it definitely does a better job than The Accountant 2. I think most of the time I actually prefer cinematic made movies, but in this case, a Minecraft movie is just much more entertaining, a lot more lighthearted, and honestly, I can't remember that well, but I believe I laughed a little bit more at a Minecraft movie than I did The Accountant 2. Now, cinematically, out of 17 total movies, it is going to be 12th, just below Novocaine and above Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. Now, I have it above Den of Thieves 2. Movies are honestly very similar in quality. They're not that good, but the thing about Den of Thieves 2 that bothers me more is that main bad character. I just did not like him. The main villain of that movie, I just don't feel like the casting was really good, and it really bothered me throughout the movie. The whole time I'm thinking, this guy does not seem like he is that character. He just is not doing a great job. He just doesn't fit it very well. And I kept thinking about it throughout the movie. And I feel like that's more of a crime than The Accountant 2 just not really doing anything terrible and not doing anything good. It's just kind of existing. Now, I do have it below Novocaine, and I think really it's just The Accountant 2 had more that I disliked than what Novocaine had. They're both very mid movies that don't do anything great or anything bad, but Novocaine just had less crimes as far as just the plot didn't have a million things coming into it, and me not really caring about any of them. It just had like, 2 or 3 that just weren't that great. So it just does a little bit less wrong, but both of them are not very good movies. For the decade of the 2020s, out of 53 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be 31st, just below a Minecraft movie and above Novocaine. It's there for the exact same reasons as before. Cinematically, out of 53 total movies, it is going to be 39th, just below Strays and above Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. It's above Den of Thieves 2 for the exact same reasons as before. Now, I do have it below Strays. I just feel like Strays, even though it is more of an entertainment movie, it's just a more quality movie. It doesn't do nearly as many things wrong, and you go into it thinking it is a very entertainment forward movie, which it is, but then it has moments that kind of surprise you with emotion. Not that you actually get emotional in that movie, but there is a scene or two that you go, oh, I wasn't really expecting that out of that movie. That was kind of interesting. That was a little bit more emotional than I thought. A little bit more serious than I thought. I just think they do a better job. They kind of touch on it when you weren't expecting it, and then they just make a smoother, better movie where The Accountant 2 has more problems for me. All time, out of 67 total movies on the entertainment side, it is going to be 44th, just below a Minecraft movie and above Novocaine. Again, it's there for the exact same reasons as before. Cinematically, out of 67 total movies, it is going to be 52nd, just below Strays and above Den of Thieves 2. It's there for the exact same reasons as before. All right, that's all I've got for The Accountant 2. Kind of a boring movie. By the time I've gotten this out, probably most people have forgotten. But if you happen to watch this video, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna try and get caught up. If you watched the movie, let me know what you thought. Did you like it more than I did? Did you enjoy the tone change to more of a comedic movie more than I did? I didn't really love it all that much. But if you're interested in somebody who does the same format as me, except now he does a lot more TV shows. He's kept a little more current than I have. He also has one concise list. Go check out my best friend Bosso Movie Reviews. I know he'd love to go see you over there. Make sure that you comment a movie that you want me to review. I don't know when I'll get to it. Hopefully soon. I'm really gonna try and catch up. But subscribe so that you can watch me review that movie. But otherwise, I'm Mr. Majoritarian. Stay classy, San Diego.